Do any of you put all of your eggs in one basket like I do? I want to show you how to protect you and your family the way that I protect mine. Tonight we're going to go over 3 different coverages that are on your auto insurance policy. Coverage is the other person coverage, you and your family coverage, and your car coverage. According to Allstate, car insurance is about more than just the car. It's about protecting against financial setbacks. The first coverage we're going to talk about is the other person coverage. Now there are 2 parts to this coverage and they're both required by law. Bodily injury liability. That is what pays money to the other people who are injured in an auto accident. Now if you cause the wreck, you're going to be held responsible for medical costs, lost wages, pain and suffering, and even disability. Bodily injury liability protects you from losing your home, your savings, and even having your wages garnished to pay for other people's medical costs. Now, the Texas state minimum for limits of liability is $25,000 per person, but only up to $50,000 per accident. Now, if you carry these limits on your auto insurance policy, this is the maximum that your insurance company is going to pay. Now, hypothetically, I'm going to give you a story. If I was to get out on the road this evening and I was to hydroplane and there was a collision head-on with another vehicle, let's say the other driver was killed in the accident, and it was a gentleman who's 30 years old and makes $50,000 a year. He's got 3 kids and a wife at home. Now, technically speaking, he has another 30 years of earning power, and that is $1.5 million. Okay, so how much compensation do you think his loved one's going to be wanting for the loss of their loved one? With this limit, $25,000 is what your insurance company is going to pay to that spouse. Now, property damage liability is the second part of this. Okay? Usually, with the limits of $25,000 per person up to $50,000 per accident, there's $25,000 for property damage. Now, this limit right here pays for the damage to other vehicles. And according to Allstate, the average car on the road is $28,400. That's not including luxury cars, Escalades, $50,000 vehicles, or even multiple car accidents. So given the possibility in an accident, if it's your fault, this might not be enough coverage. Now you do have control of these limits, okay? You don't have to take the state minimum. You could have $50,000 per person up to $100,000 per accident and $50,000 for property damage. Some people even carry $250,000 per person up to $500,000 and $250,000 for property damage. And then even some go another step farther and take out a policy to cover that for $1 million above and beyond what their auto insurance has. Now the second coverage is going to be you and your family coverage, okay? Now this is your uninsured and your underinsured motorist coverage. Now if we were to turn that story around that I told you all about the gentleman, and let's say one of you were killed in the auto accident, how much do you think your family would feel would compensate your death? Uninsured motorists, if you're carrying, they cannot exceed your limits of liability. So if you're carrying 25, 50, 25 for your limits, your uninsured motorist is also going to be $25,000 per person up to 50 and $25,000. So if you were killed, $25,000 is what you would be awarded. Now there's also another coverage other than just uninsured motorists, and it's called personal injury protection. It's also known as PIP. Some of you may have it on your auto policy. Another is called MedPay. Okay? The only difference in these 2 coverages right here is that personal injury protection pays for not only your medical costs, but it covers your lost wages. MedPay only covers your medical bills. These usually start out around $2,000 and they can go up to $25,000. Now the third coverage is going to be your car coverage. And with your car coverage, That is going to be mainly your comprehensive and your collision coverage. And you have deductibles for your comprehensive and your collision coverage. So an example of a comprehensive claim would be if your car is parked outside and a tree falls on top of your car. Now, since you have a deductible, let's say that deductible is $50. You would pay the first $50 and then your insurance would pick up the rest. An example of your collision coverage would be if you actually run into a tree. And then let's say your deductible for that's $500. You would pay the first $500 and then your insurance would pick up the rest. Most people do pay higher premiums to have lower deductibles. Towing and rental coverages can also be on your auto policy. With a towing coverage, typically you can get limits around $120 per incident. So if you have a mechanical breakdown, lock your keys in your car, things like that, you can turn it in and you get reimbursed for your towing. You can also have rental car. So with rental car, if you're in a collision and your vehicle's in the shop being repaired, a lot of companies will write that. You get to pick these coverages, but $35 a day is typical. So while your car is being repaired, your insurance will pay $35 a day up to 30 days. Now this evening we have seen how important these coverages can be. The other person, you and your family, and your car. So since we have no choice but to put all of our eggs in one basket sometimes, don't you think that we should make sure and protect them?